Hello, everybody, and welcome back to tracking our local shifting real estate market here in Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. And we have officially been doing this since the start of 2023. It is now the first week of April, and I have decided to shake up our format a little bit. So going forward, I'm going to start splitting these videos. I got into a point where we started to include a lot more information about a side topic, and the shift tracker, this portion of it, the economics, has kind of got, we're burying the lead a little bit. So what I'm going to do in the hopes of splitting this content up a little bit more so that if you are more interested in just hearing the economics, we're going to keep these shift trackers much more short, much more succinct, and much more just a telling of the story of what's happening with the economics. Then I'm going to record my secondary topic for the week as a separate video. So if you really just want to jump in, kind of get the quick economic facts for the week and be out of it, that's fine. If you're interested and are really finding that you enjoy more of the side topics and the economics is kind of boring you, I totally get it. It's economics. It's not meant to be overly exciting. It's just meant to be the economics. So anyway, we will split these two. So going forward in your email, if you're getting it this way, or if you're just finding me on the YouTube channel, I will be splitting these things in. One will be the shift tracker, and then the other will become a new playlist on the YouTube channel titled TBD, but we'll figure that out as we go. So let's talk about this week. So we're week 14 here of April, 2024, first week of April. And I'm starting to see some things that I don't like a little bit with the stats. So first, total active listings, we are down here at 1202. The last time we had it at that low was week 6 of this year, and we only had it for a little bit of last year. So being at 1202 total active listings, that is tied for the lowest all year, and it was quite low even compared to what we had last year, even at the lowest time. Now you can see I brought two graphs up because I want to highlight what's going on differently and similarly this year for active listings and for median list price. Our new listings were still pretty high, but good, 288. But unfortunately, they were outpaced by our under contract. So we put more under contract this week than we did put new listings on the market, and that is contributing to this overall loss of the amount of listings on the market. We see that our closed units are kind of right in line here. So I'm okay when these hover around the same, but again, we just don't want to see these closed and under contracts outpace our new listings. We really need to gain a lot more new listings for that to start to become equalized. I thought this one was interesting, though. For our expired, withdrawn, or canceled, we had an all-time high of this year, at least 124, and 81 of them were expired listings. So I think what a lot of people may have done is as soon as the new year began, they decided to sign maybe like a 3-month listing agreement with somebody, and it's now April, first week of April, and in this past week, you would have had March 31st, and so these would have finally expired. That's the best I can come up with for a reason as to why we had such a uniquely high number there, because the next highest we had was 104 back there at the beginning of February, 114 back at the beginning of February, and then we had a little bit of a high one here. I believe it was, it was the last of December. It was actually the month before. So we always see this the first of the month. We always see this be a little bit higher because remember, a lot of people sign those agreements and have them end just neatly and tidily at the end of a month. Price reductions are, again, kind of staying within that same range that we've seen them in. And then our days on market just continuing to stay up at those kind of high numbers that we're seeing, the 60 and 26 for median and the average. Now, our median list price, we are kind of steady here again in that 345 number, and our volume's a little bit lower. So that's all kind of makes sense. Interesting to see kind of how low the active listings inventory is going to be. And again, first of the new month, we're seeing a high expireds. So all kind of in line with what we're looking at. But let's take a peek here at these two total graphs, and then we're going to wrap up here to keep with the spirit of what I began with. So let me explain both these two graphs, and let's just start with this one up top here, the average total active listings 2023 and 2024. So the blue line shows month over month how many listings we had on average for that month. So back January of last year, we had 1501. February of last year, we had 1360, and so forth. And that we've talked about this in numerous videos, where during that heavy inflation period of last year, we really lost a lot of listings, and then it sort of rebounded steadily throughout the year with a little dip in December, as it naturally does, just a little bit of a slower time period. So basically, this 1471 in December of 2023 rolls right into the January, which is the red here, of 2024. So we went from 1471 active listings in December, tanked all the way down to 1289 in January of this year. So really big drop. Then continued to fall down to 1224, rebounded slightly with if there's anything I could say, it was like a post Super Bowl early spring little market push up, but still tragically low. And as we're seeing this week at 12:02 for April, this number is already dropping down here to some of the lower numbers that we had here. So total active listings are not looking great at the moment. We're seeing them continue to kind of stagnate and fall right around this area. And if you remember, this time in here was a really stressful time to buy a home, this area of 2023 that we had. And I'm really hoping we don't have something similar. So let's just keep an eye on that and see how that goes. Now I'm going to bring this next graph up just a little bit to make it easier for us to see us. And same thing, this is tracking the difference of 2023 and 2024. And so we had the green, which was our 2023. And so we could see that our prices rose pretty steadily the first 5-6 months of last year. And then they have stayed fairly steady for this ending part of last year. Same thing, a little bit of an eclipse in November, ever so slight decline in December, with a little bit extra decline in January, similar to what we had for some of the active listings, where we had somewhat high, somewhat low, and even lower. And that was what we had here, somewhat high, somewhat low, even lower. And the red is now focusing on the 2024. But as we can see, with these low active listing numbers that we've had all this year, 333, 340, 345. So these average median list prices are on the right. The average monthly median list prices. That is kind of confusing when you have average and median back together. But stay with me. So basically, we're starting to see the prices on a rise here. So what do we get to take away from this? Well, our listing inventory is still tragically low. And remember, these blue numbers from 2023 were already tragically low compared to what we had in 2022 and 2021. So still really down in active listings. If you're a seller, you're still going to get good money. You will be able to list it at basically the highest price point that your neighborhood has seen, as long as you have one of the nicer homes and things like that, and it's been updated. So anyway, this is a lot of continuation of the same as we're seeing here in the South Jersey real estate market. What do we see breaking this? This is an election year, so I know that a lot of people are kind of putting their life on hold to see what happens, whether it's going to be a blue, whether it's going to be a red. Do I think there's going to be a huge difference outcoming of that? Possibly. I think the interesting thing for me is some of the legislation being proposed to prevent some of the corporate buyers from having to buy properties or having to potentially divest. Now, that's found with certain candidates. I don't really, again, this isn't a political show. This isn't about who I want or don't want from a political standpoint. But what we have to prep is saying, depending on who and which partisan side takes over this government and what type of fiscal policy they're going to enact, how can we prepare, or what should we do today in order to prepare for those potential outcomes? And so what I think you're seeing with this total active listings is just that. It is so left, so right, so independent of what we may see coming out in the next 6 months, especially going into this election, that I think a lot of people are holding tight. I think a lot of people are just saying, you know what, this is not the year for this. Let us get through the election season, and maybe sometime next year we'll tackle this whole housing thing. But right now there's just too much going on. Affordability is too rough. Wages are not quite there where we need them to be. So anyway, that's going to do it for this week on Shift Tracker, and I will talk to you soon.